Hey, it's Eric with another Max for Live 6.1 Live 9 tutorial. And what I want to talk about tonight is compression, everybody's favorite thing. Compression. What does that mean? Compression is basically compressing the dynamic range of an audio signal. What does that mean? Okay, imagine, a signal can get really quiet or a signal can be really loud, right? The dynamic range is the difference between the quietest signal and the loudest signal. Okay, so by compression you say, well, okay, you're going to even that out. So the quiet signals, even though they're going to have the characteristics of being quiet, they're actually going to have their amplitude is going to be shifted up, and the loudest ones are going to be shifted down. So they're going to meet somewhere in the middle. So this way, it's not going to sound weird like this when you're listening to stuff. It's going to wind up somehow getting it, in the middle. All right, so how do you do that? Well, let's look at how you do that. I have a Eraser Comp, clever name, right? This is a compressor. It's based on some of the Max for Live built-in sample code in there. So you can always get all kinds of cool sample things. I'm going to open this up, right? Max for Live, audio device. Let me turn it on for a second here first. Now I'm going to switch over to this channel, and I'll be talking. You might lose me for a second. Hopefully not. Let's see what happens. Okay, we still there? Yes, we are. Okay, good. Real quick example. Now here's my input signal on this side. Here's my output signal over here, and this is the gain, the activity on the compressor. And right now it's just flat gain of 1, so it's not doing anything, not doing much of anything at all. Okay, so gets interesting, you'll see now the input and output are the same. I'm going to set a threshold at which the signal will start to get compressed. So I'm going to set it somewhere, let's say set it in the minus 20 range, and I'm going to set the ratio. And what the ratio is, for every X dB in, the signal will go up by 1 dB. So if I set it up to say 2 or 3, the signal has to go 3 dB up to go 1 dB up when it is beyond this threshold. Okay, so you'll see now what's happening is this signal here, it's nice and big, nice and fat. It is not so fat over here because it's getting squashed down when it gets loud. But you'll notice when it gets softer, they get very similar. They're not really changing much, right? So it's basically taking that range. You see it's staying a lot more in the middle there. Isn't that neat, right? Okay, and then get even fancier. You see over here, this means that the compressor is engaging, right? When something's going on, when it's actually compressing, you see more activity up here. All right, so I'm going to goose up my gain, input gain a little bit. It's going to sound a little nasty here, and to do that I'm going to boost my ratio a little bit, maybe take my output volume down a little bit. And what's going to happen? More and more compression. I hate the really high ratios, they sound awful. Let's go back to 2. All right, so let's switch myself back over to here so I sound normal again, okay? And I have some examples of some clips here that why I want to use compression. So let's listen to this one.
I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly.
Right, I like these old sci-fi clips. And this one has, actually, there's a lot going on in the background of it. There's all those, cool sci-fi effects going on there. But if you just listen to it dry, I'm going to turn this off, listen to it dry.
I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into
really
changing your mind.
hear the sci-fi effect in the background as much. I want to bring that out. And so what I need to do is I need to turn the gain up to hear what's going on in the background. But the problem is, as I turn that gain up, her voice is also going to get really loud. So what I want to do is use a compressor so I can bring the gain up and then compress the loudest signal back down again. Ready? Now watch. Here we go. Turn that on. It's going to loop. Here, hold on. Ready?
I won't try to talk you into changing your mind.
Okay,
I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind.
You can hear more and more of the background in there.
Behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly.
Okay.
I won't try to talk you into
So we'll
changing
spend too
your
much
mind.
time tweaking that right now. So let's get into why that works, or what it's doing. Okay. So let me open up the Max for Live patch here. And it starts off in presentation mode. Nice spiffy mode so it doesn't look nasty. And I go into patching mode here. You see it, it's crazy glory. All right, so what's going on? I have a plug-in and a plug-out like I do for all my Max for Live audio devices. Basically, that's the audio coming from Ableton and the audio going back to Ableton. Now, the signal chain goes like this. There's two of them. There's a left and a right. I'm just going to show you one of them. Okay, so plug out goes to a gain stage here, so I can adjust the input gain. That's what's going on here, a little numerical. dB2A, so I want to express this in terms of dB, and turns it into a linear value here, and that multiplies my original signal. So I just start adjusting gain by multiplying the signal by some number from 0 and 1, right? Okay, so that comes through here. Then I have my adjustment gain, and the adjustment gain is, let's see, where am I? My signal okay? It's not too bad. All right. So my adjustment gain is what's being tweaked by the input signal. That's the automatic adjustment that's going on, right? So this signal gets louder as it crosses the threshold. This is the gain here that gets adjusted, okay? And then there's the final stage. It comes down here. There's an output volume, and it's just yet another gain adjustment. It's going to multiply it by some number from 0 to 1, or even higher if I want to crank it up. Okay, so that's what's going on. So the interesting one, of course, is what's going here in this adjustment gain. Now you see my plug-in, after I have this coarse adjustment here, after I do my my input gain adjustment, I pass it to this section in here, and this is where the magic is going on. I got one for the left channel and one for the right channel, and they have a common set of controls here, right? They're wired in. You see these control signals coming in. One goes to the left side, one goes to the right side. So everything shares a common set of controls here. And then even these, they go through and they ramp down, and that gets shared across these two. Okay, so what's going on? All right, we talked about the dB to A over here, where it adjusts the input gain. Average. First thing it does is it takes the average of the signals. So I don't really deal with an instantaneous sample, once every 48,000 or 96,000 or whatever times. I don't want to deal with that at that rate. So I can take an average 50 milliseconds in here. And here, the 50 is pretty tight. So it's a pretty fast one. Usually you see they doing like a second or so. But I tighten this up just so it responds a little faster. Okay, then it takes that. It converts the audio level, the 0 to 1 to a dB value, so then I can deal with the thresholds and stuff in terms of dB, which is a nice convenient thing. People understand that. Their meters are in dBs and so on. So that's easier to deal with. All right, so I convert that. And then you see this greater than tilde. That's comparing, a tilde is there because it's a MSP or a signal rate object here. So it's comparing a signal rate object. So it says, okay, is this signal that's coming in, is this value greater than, and I can follow that, the threshold? Okay, so when it's greater than the threshold, it's going to say 1, right? So that's going to come through here and set this something times 1. It's going to activate it, okay? So as soon as this signal goes beyond the threshold, it's going to let a 1 through here, which is going to get multiplied by some value. See this, a bit of math? Somebody clever at Cycling 74 must have named that one. Okay, double click on that by holding down the my command key, and I can see the subpatcher that's in there. And I'm gonna grow this up a little bit because I'm blind as a bat sometimes. And let's look inside here. Okay, so it has 3 parameters. What are they? All right, so they're coming from here. First, we have the threshold, which comes in 1. There it is, named threshold. That's clever. The level and the ratio. All right. So what's happening is here, this is a subtraction. Minus tilde means we're subtracting a audio rate signal. So we get the difference between the threshold and the level. That's what they say here. And then the gain change in dB. Okay, so the gain change is what we're going to go up and down by. We subtract the threshold and the level from the threshold. And we multiply that by 1 minus 1 over the ratio. right? That number that we set to be like 1, 2, and up. Basically, it's saying, okay, for every X dB up, we're gonna like use, we're gonna get 1 over X, increments of that, right? This is an exponential relationship, so it starts off, at like 0, and it grows pretty quickly, but it never quite gets to 1, right? It's one of these exponential things, the hockey stick, but inverted hockey stick sort of thing. You've seen it, squares and all that. These are exponential relationships, right? They usually start off fast or start off slow, and they gradually approach a value and kind of never quite get there. But anyway, okay, so that controls that. And what's coming in here, there's a little bit of protection math over here, avoiding divide by 0. This is bang divided by means, instead of saying, okay, divide this by 1, it means 1 over 1 divided by that. So it kind of inverts this. And same thing here. Instead of saying -1, it means 1 minus. That's what the bang in front of that is. Okay, so it takes that, calculates this, sends that in here. So we get now our gain changes, threshold minus level times 1 minus 1 over the ratio. Converts that back to a linear value. And let's see, what does it say? Convert dB gain to correction to unity gain. All right, so let's take a look at this here. Bang minus, okay, so it's 1 minus that value, and then multiply that value times 1. So we're basically doing a little bit of correction at the end for unity gain. All right, close that out. So that comes out, our bit of math, that gets multiplied by our 1 or 0, depending if we've crossed that threshold. So that's what's going on here. All right, so when it crosses the threshold, it uses that. If it doesn't cross the threshold, that gets set to 0, and 0 comes through here. Then what we do is we offset it by 1. That's what the plus tilde 1 is, right? So we get 0 through here, we get 1 for the gain. Okay. Now there's this ramp smooth. Everything gets filtered into this ramp smooth here. And what that is doing is basically so we don't have a really abrupt value, right? It's going to smooth our transitions. And you'll see over here we have our attack time and our release time. And that's going to just, like I said, basically smooth out how the compressor responds. We don't have it pop up and down. It's going to smooth it out. And so that comes through, and then it just feeds it to our adjustment here, right? So as the signal goes up and down, as it crosses that threshold, it will decide, okay, once it's past there, then it knows it has to scale it. It has to, change the relationship. You have to be going up a whole lot more in order to, get that gain in signal. It might be, if you set your ratio to 3, you have to go up 3 dB to get 1 dB out of it. If it's 4, you have to go 4 dB to get 1 out of it, right? So if it's 12, you get 3 out. If it's a ratio of 4, etc., something like that. Did I do that right in my head? Yeah, so basically. All right, so let's start our sci-fi sample again, see what happens. So you can see in here, this is the compressor actually happening. This is the value that's coming out. So you can see it knocking it down because the input threshold is pretty low. This is the original signal, and what's coming out is pretty low. Okay, this might be weird right now. Let me kind of adjust some of these. One threshold, gain up a little bit, ratio down to something reasonable. If I set it to 1, just the original, you don't hear much.
I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind.
Sorry.
I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask
if ratio is 1, you don't get much going on. Right now we're just changing the gains not. If we switch that, you'll see now immediately you'll start to hear more of the effects in the background.
I won't try to talk you into changing your mind.
Turn things up a little bit so you can hear it.
I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind. I only ask that you behave justly. I won't try to talk you into changing your mind.
Coming down.
I only ask that you behave
the background kind of comes up.
I won't try to talk you into changing your mind.
All right, so that's a brief, relatively brief. What has it been, like 15 minutes? Sorry to spend all that time, but that's how you could write your own compressor inside of Max for Live and how compression works. Okay, thanks for spending 15 minutes with me. Visit me at erasermice.com. Check out the really cool Max for Live devices we have, especially the floating windows. I know everybody's been asking for multiple windows for live, and there's one way you can get it. Have your own arrangement and session views floating separate from the live interface. And keep checking back for more tutorials. And till next time, happy patching. Bye.